Okay, so the last feature here we're going to be doing is the mouth from that same sort of angle. This model has her head tilted very, very slightly to the left, so I want to bear that in mind. So that means that the right side of the mouth is going to appear to be just a little bit bigger. So we still have that similar angle, and because of that, it looks like the top lip looks thicker than the bottom, when usually in reality it's the reverse, but in this case the top one looks thicker than the bottom lip. So I'm going to start off with drawing kind of the opening. If the lips are closed, and obviously you don't have to worry about that, you can just start with kind of that line that separates the two lips. But I'm going to go ahead and start with that opening that I see. So it looks kind of horizontal here at the bottom. Now I got like a little sliver that's open there. Now, if I look really hard, I can see some teeth in there, but I'm not going to bother with that, because if I try drawing teeth in, I'm going to make her look like Bugs Bunny or something. So I'm just going to keep that black later on. Alright, so figure out about the thickness of the top lip, and kind of like what we were saying before with that foreshortened view, the distance between the nose and the lip looks a lot smaller than if she had her head tilted downward. So we're going to keep that in mind when we're placing them all together. Alright, so I think the top lip's going to be about that thick, which means the bottom lip needs to be less than that, so maybe right about here. Alright, so I've got that now, and I know that the mouth continues to turn downward whenever you've got that angle where you're looking up. The mouth almost always looks like it's turning down. So it comes down to about here, and I want to put in that middle line so I know to make the right side just a little bit bigger than the left. So if the person is tilted and you make the mouth straight, it's going to look like they have a mouth on the side of their face. We don't want that. Okay, so she does have a little bit of a divot right here on the top of the lip. And then draw the left side here first. It kind of rounds around and goes down to the corner. Her corner of her mouth kind of comes out just a little bit further than the lip. So right about here. And I'm already noticing maybe I made it a little bit too thick, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Correct it. So just make sure you correct those mistakes. You probably will make some of your own along the way. Just try to recognize it and adjust. Usually before you start shading is a good idea. Alright, that looks a little better. Alright, so it's still the center. You can see more of the right side. We're good. Now the bottom lip is kind of subtle here. We don't notice a distinctive edge to it as much as with that top lip, but I'm going to kind of sketch it in anyway. Just when I shade it, I won't want to make that too pronounced. Alright, so I think I'm good with that as far as the sketch goes. Now let's start shading. So we said that inside we're just going to make black. Define it first. Alright, now when I start shading, this is usually going to be the case. The top lip looks like it's darker than the bottom lip. That's because of the lighting situation. Sometimes it's just, the tint of the skin, but typically that top lip will look darker than the bottom lip. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and kind of shade the whole thing, maybe like a medium gray. And then we'll make some parts darker, and then we'll make some parts lighter as well. But this should be like our medium tone to it all that we start with. a blender or your finger. Soften it up. Alright, now I'm also noticing that it gets darker as it moves towards the center. So like as the lip kind of moves into the inside here, kind of rounds around, it is going to become a little bit darker down here towards the opening. So let me put a little bit more shade in there. And even around the edges, I'm noticing it's a little bit darker too. Around this edge. Alright, now you darken up that opening a little bit because we kind of lost it. Alright, now we're going to erase for our reflections. So we do have a few reflections in that top lip. I'm just going to use my white vinyl eraser here. Alright, so now I'm starting on the bottom lip. This is significantly lighter, so I'm not going to push nearly as hard to begin with, but I am still going to start with kind of an overall gray. And might as well go ahead and kind of darken this part up here too. Where it comes back in underneath the bottom lip, it's a little bit darker. There's a little bit of a shadow that's created there. Divots, it seems like right here, so it's a little bit darker. And maybe a little darker towards the opening of the mouth. Alright, and then my reflections. So we got a couple on the sides here, not too drastic. And kind of soften up the edges as well. So it doesn't look so scratchy. Kind of blur it in a little maybe. Alright, not an exact replica, but I'm confident with that. Feels like a mouth to me. And that's about it.